So last class we left off talking about scales and similar figures, where we had a triangle. Pretend those sides are straight. And let's say we've got a 4-inch side here, and a 10-inch side. Similar figures yet. And over here we have, let's call this 14 inches. We'll call this X. Call this 42 inches here. Call this one Y. Find the length of those missing sides for me quick. So if we set this up, what two sides that go together do we know both of the lengths for?
42 and 10.
Okay, the 42 and the 10 go together.
And 14 and 4.
Okay, do the 42 and 10 go together if you look at that?
Yeah.
No. Why not? Okay, so you got this angle right here, right? So those two angles match up. These two angles match up, right? So the sides between those match up. So that's telling us the 42 matches up with Y.
Well, it looks like.
Yeah, I know my drawing's a little ugly. So
Come on, man.
the 14 here is between this angle with the two arcs and the one that's not marked. So over here, here's the two arcs and here's the one that's not marked. The 14 goes with the 4. That means X must go with the 10. So which side do we know both lengths? 14 and 4. I can either do 14 over 4 or 4 over 14. It doesn't matter. If I'm looking for X, where's X going to go? Top or bottom? Yeah, X goes with the 14, so it'll go on top. What goes on bottom? 10 is the corresponding side from the other figure.
What's the reasoning for the 14 or the X on top there?
X is from the same figure as the 14. So it has to go with the 14. So now we cross multiply. 14 times 10 divided by 4 is 35. So X is 35. What unit goes on there? Everything else is in inches. That has to be inches. How do we find Y? 14 over 4 equals 42 over Y. Good. The Y goes on bottom because it's from the same figure as the 4. Now you said A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Can we do that? No right angles. Got to have a right angle. So now we cross multiply and divide. 4 times 42 divided by 14 gives us 12 inches for Y. This idea of similar figures and having the sides magnified does not just apply to two-dimensional figures. Now, we looked at scales for scale drawings and all that stuff. But we can actually look at three-dimensional figures like, let's make a simpler one here for now. We can look at a cylinder like this. So let's say on this cylinder, this is 8 centimeters and 20 centimeters. On this one, this is 4 centimeters. I want to find that height. How am I going to find that height? Assuming that they're just one's an enlargement or a reduction of the other. Well, we know that the diameter corresponds to the diameter of the other one, right? That's 8 over 4. Now, as we said yesterday, you can reduce this if you want to. At this point, you could reduce that to 2 to 1. But since we're going to use the calculator most likely to cross multiply and divide, it's just as simple. Less likely to make a mistake if we just leave it. On the other side, where's x going to go? It goes on bottom because it's from the same cylinder as the 4. What goes above it? The 20 is the height of the other cylinder. So we cross multiply and divide here, x equals 10. So that's 10 centimeters. We could have a little bit more complex three-dimensional object. Let's go back here. So you don't let me shrink it, is it? No, it's not. Darn you. That'll do it anyway. This is where I wish I was a better artist. There, close enough. So you get the picture. Again, we've got two three-dimensional objects. One's just an enlargement of the other. So this one here is 4 centimeters on top, 10 centimeters on bottom. And we call the height of it x. We're going to call the top of this one y. The bottom of it we're going to call (150 centimeters). We're going to call this height 120 centimeters. Looking at this, what two sides that correspond do we know both lengths? The 150 and the 10, the bottom diameter. Now I can't just put 150 over 10 here, can I? The units are different. Oops. I guess the units are the same. Never mind. I was going to put inches on one and centimeters on the other, but I forgot to change them, but that's okay. We'll do that on the next example. So it is 150 over 10 here. On the other side over here, what goes, well, we're going to find x. Where does x go, top or bottom? X is with the 10s. It goes on bottom. What goes above it? 120 is the height of the other one. So we will cross multiply and divide. 10 times 120 divided by 150 is 8. So this is 8 centimeters here. To find y, 150 over 10 again. Where's y go? Y goes on top because it comes from the same figure as the 150. What goes below it? The 4. Cross multiply and divide there. Y is 60 centimeters. Excuse me. So let's take a figure like this. And on this one, this top piece is 4 inches by 6 inches. The bottom piece here is going to be 20 inches by X inches. Over here, this is going to be 60 centimeters and Y centimeters. .300 centimeters and Z. Oops, can't put Z there. Let's see where I put it there. I'm going to change a couple of numbers here quick just to make life easier on me. I'm going to make this one here 30 inches. And this one here is going to be 450 centimeters. Just because that'll make life a little bit easier on me, this one's going to be 300 centimeters. So now to find my missing dimensions here, you guys tell me where to start. The 4 and the 60. Now again, that's 4 inches and 60 centimeters. So technically I have to leave the units in there. That's not a ratio, that's a rate because it's different units. So now when I set up the other side, not only do I have to make sure that this measurement comes from the same figure as the 4 inches, I also have to make sure that it's done in inches. So if I'm looking for X, where does X go? Top or bottom? It's on top. Now it doesn't have any units on it right now, but we know that's going to be in inches because this is in inches.
No, that's not bottom. It should be on the bottom.
From the same figure as the 4.
You're right, that's on top.
But you're finding the Y.
We're finding X right now.
300's on bottom.
300 goes on bottom. Okay, so you got this relationship here, right? The 4 inches and the 60 centimeters represent the same dimension between the two figures, that dimension, right? When we're finding X, X has to go over here with the dimension that's from the same figure it is from. So X is from the same figure as the 4, so it has to go with the 4. The corresponding side in the other figure is the 300, because that's the same side as the X is. That's from the same figure as the 60, so that has to go with the 60. So now we cross multiply. 4 times 300 divided by 60.
Don't you have to do the right? Don't you have to convert it first?
Nope, I don't. Because these are inches and these are inches. These are centimeters and these are centimeters. I'm using a proportion that has rates in it rather than ratios. So as long as this unit and this unit are the same, and this unit and this unit are the same, I can still cross multiply and divide. What's going to happen, this will be inches times centimeters, and then divided by centimeters. So the centimeters divide out, and I'm left with inches. So 4 inches times 300 centimeters divided by 60 centimeters. So the centimeters divide out. 4 times 300 divided by 60 is 20 inches. Make sense? See, that's a lot of people think, well, don't I have to make those ratios? Don't I have to convert the units? And it's a little bit cleaner if you do, but you end up with ugly decimals in this case if you do it. As long as you have the units matched up, it's okay.
Different, it's rate.
It's you comparing rates, yes, because rates don't have the same units. But when you're doing rates, like miles per hour is a rate, you have to have miles per hour on one side, it has to be miles per hour on the other side as well. It can't be hours per mile. If you've got hours and miles on top, it's got to be on top on both sides of the proportion. You can do the same thing to find Y here, but I think I'm beating a dead horse at this point. Want to review just percents a little bit from last semester because they're pretty important as we move on. So if I ask you to find blank is 30% of 80, how do I set that up? Remember, 30% is 30 out of 100, right? On the other side, I've got the blank and I've got the 80. Blank is 30, so the blank goes with the 30. Of 80, if you recall, read that as out of 80. So the 80 goes on bottom. We will cross multiply and divide. 30 times 80 divided by 100 is 24. So for this one, 72 is blank percent of 90. So I always start with the percent, but here I don't have it. So I'm just going to start out with blank over 100. That's my missing percent. Over here, which one goes on top? 72. 72 is blank, so the 72 goes with my blank. Of 90, again, I can read that as out of 90, so that implies the 90 is on bottom. Cross multiply and divide. 100 times 72 is 7,200. Divided by 90 is 80, so that is 80%. 72 is 80% of 90. How do I set this one up? 40%, so 40 over 100. 32 is 40, so 32 goes with the 40 over my missing number, yes. And we'll cross multiply and divide. 100 times 32 is 3,200. Divided by 40 is 80. 32 is 40% of 80. In your notes, find that missing number. So 20% is 20 out of 100. What'd you get for the blank? 140. So the 28 goes on top. 20% is 28. And yeah, you cross multiply and divide, you do get 140. Perfect. How about this one? Go ahead and yell it out when you got it. 20. So we're missing the percent, so it's blank over 100. Blank percent is 9, so the 9 goes with the blank of 45 is out of 45. Cross multiply. 100 times 9 divided by 45 does give us 20. That's 20%. Okay, I've got a worksheet I'm going to give you. On this worksheet, I just want you to do 1 through 6. Do them all, not just the odds on this one.